so it's good information. Froze on my screen. I was like, what? It's go.
Hey, there we go. We are live. Hey, how's you doing, everyone? Welcome to the Bits and Pieces podcast with me, Funny Bits Boy, and Beth, Pizza Beth. How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So welcome to episode 9. 9 weeks we've been doing this, and yeah, I would just, before we continue, the music that you just heard on the intro there was from our wonderful, we're getting a sponsorship from different studios, music for streamers and gamers. It's DMC CA free music that they gave to us. So we're using that at the start of the podcast, and it's thanks to the Freddie Show. Freddie Show, who unfortunately can't be with us this week. He's taken a extended holiday for the Christmas period, which we wish him and his family, as well as yours, very Merry Christmas. So yeah, thanks very much for the different studios for giving us that sponsor. But yeah, welcome to episode 9. So how is everyone doing? Hope everyone's good and well. Beth, how are you? You good? You
Yeah,
well?
I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent.
Excited to get into the podcast.
Excited to get into it
fun.
today, yeah. Well, and it's going to be, sadly, it's the last one of the year. It's going to be, next week is Christmas Day. And it's like, well, you know, we're going to have to try and think of something for the new year. I think we'll definitely be back for a new, you know, soon as Christmas is over with, we'll definitely come back with episode 10, because we're going to do 10 episodes, right? We have to.
Yeah.
And I'm hopefully, I know, fingers crossed, we might be able to get a special guest starting in the new year. So that I'm very much looking forward to. So if anyone out there wants to join us, let us know. Drop us a line. Send me.
You can be a guest on our very professional podcast.
One that very rarely goes wrong. Like if one of us isn't muted. Let me bring up Beth's stream, because I know she's streaming as well. You're streaming as well, right? There we go. Let's bring you up so that I'm there we go. Right, and make sure that I'm live on that. Yeah. Brilliant. So well, we've got a bit of a, you know, like I said, we're a man down, but you know, me and Freddie managed to get through it a couple of weeks ago. Obviously Beth was unable to join us 1 week, so sometimes it's going to happen. We're going to be one man down. And but the show will always
Well,
continue as best as we can
the
do.
show must go on,
The
right?
show must go on. So, as always, we're going to do some spotlights. I don't know if, Beth, you got anything for us, but then we're going to look at some of the highlights. I think are one of the best highlights of any gaming experience I've had. It's going to be the highlights that me and Beth got involved with other some of our communities actually, like Expence, obviously Freddy Show. I know he isn't here as well to join in with that, but hopefully hopefully he's somewhere listening. And if you are, Freddy, we miss you, man. We miss you.
Yeah,
We're missing you. Come back to us soon. But yeah, I know it's needing a much needed break, taking a much needed break, I should say. So yeah, I'm going to start off with a spotlight, and then we're just going to go down memory lane, basically. Have a little look at some of the antics that we got up to with some of our
and talk about the Phasmophobia update.
Well done for reminding me. We got the Phasmophobia update, which came out on last Friday. I think it was last Friday, whatever the date it is now. It was last weekend, which would be I think the 11th of December 2021. In case you're listening in the future, you might not be listening to us live or watching us live. You might not be watching the VOD over on Twitch or on YouTube, but you might be listening to us on one of our podcast areas. With the now on Apple iPlayer, the podcasts there. We're also
going places.
Yeah, we are definitely. Spotify as well. Amazon Music, anywhere that you pick up a podcast, we will be out there somewhere. I even got approached, I'm not too sure whether they're genuine or not, but I did get approached by someone to try and join their community. So we may, we're getting spotted. That's the main thing. Where it could be a dodgy email, it could be genuine, but yeah, we're getting spotted. So that's great news. So shall I start off with the spotlights then?
Yep. Go ahead.
So this is a game that came out. Let me bring this up. I'm going to bring up the trailer of this, and we can actually look at this trailer. It's Deliver Us the Moon. It's set in a near futuristic sort of apocalyptic world where Earth is basically like it needs. Human race needs to go somewhere else, so we go to the moon. There's a big space station up there. It's a puzzle game. Let me I got some info if I can just bring that up. And yeah, let's have a look. It's a puzzle adventure game experience with various points of narrative from either the first person or third person's perspective. Like when the game starts, you're in third person, and then you climb into the rocket, and as you get into the rocket, you go into first person, and you're having to control the rocket as like so cool. It's like, oh, this is like really putting you into the driver's seat, it's like, oh, I'm about to take off, but that becomes itself a puzzle, and you've got to try and work out the controls. I think I failed on my first attempt because there's a countdown timer, so you literally have to do it within that timer, otherwise you fail, and then you something happens that you explode. You can't continue the game, so you've got to start again. So yeah, I failed a couple of times, or at least a couple of times, but yeah, it's really good. Like I quite enjoyed it. Got really good reviews on it. I think very positive reviews. It's from I think it's Dutch developers. Dutch developers games. It's Kyoken with an emphasis on the N at the end. Interactives, and it's Weird Productions also published it. It's an action adventure indie space sci-fi. It's a bit of a short game. I think I completed it in maybe one or two sittings. It didn't take me too long, but I really enjoyed it. It is set, like I said, in the apocalyptic near future where Earth's natural resources are depleted. In an effort to solve like the energy in that crisis powers created the World Space Agency and secured a promising new source of energy on the moon. The World Space Agency colonized and operated from the moon until one fateful night all communications with Earth ceased and the energy source was lost. Now, years later, you assume the role of Earth's last astronaut on a do-or-die mission to investigate what happens and save humanity. And I wouldn't say it's a horror game. It doesn't come under really horror, but it's quite frightening in some areas. It's very I don't know. I felt there was like there is something there, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's come out like 2018, so it's been out quite a while. But you've got to solve these puzzles, and as you can see, there is if you're watching the trailer, you can see there is like things happening that you get to the spacesuit and you've got to do things. When you're in the spacesuit, that doesn't it's like, so you're going out into space and then you've got to do things in first person. It looks really weird, but there's this like, I think it's like an AI that seems to be there on the station itself for you, and you also interact with ghosts from the past, but which in the form of holograms. So you're trying to find out what actually happened, what's going on, and you got to do these puzzles. Some of it gets a little bit repetitive in the middle section, but on the whole, the actual game itself was, from start to finish, was really good. It was just
was this game on Epic, like a free game on Epic?
Did that happen? I'm not sure if it came on Epic. I originally played it on the PlayStation. It is available on PlayStation, like it came out on PlayStation 4, Xbox, and over on Steam. So if it was on Epic, it may have been included in one of their free games that they give us now and again.
I remember a game called Deliverance, and I remember playing it, I think on Epic. I double checked that. I'm gonna double check that because I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the same game that I'm thinking of.
I mean, I played a couple of space exploration games. One was called Alive.
Okay.
Again, that had a similar sort of thing to it, but I think this had a much more in-depth sort of mechanics to it. A lot more story to it. There's a bit of lore that you sort of pick up. There's some story that you've got to find out. So yeah, it was like I said, it's a puzzle adventure, and you just got to figure out what's going on. And like towards the end, you're like, this is just crazy. It's just like, I want to go back to it. I've got it on my Steam, actually. I've got it on my Steam. It's one of those games that I said it earlier in one of the earlier podcasts. I can't remember the game itself, but it was coming back from moving from PlayStation to PC. Any game that I liked on the PlayStation, I've kind of rebought. Like I think, I'm just trying to remember what the game was that. Oh, I think it was Pyre was one of them. I spoke about that, and this is another one that I've just come back to. I'm like, how much I loved the game. Like I think, when did I play? I might have played this on PC.
Oh, Lifeless Planet. That's the one I was thinking of. Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. So, but that, I saw the trailer of the game you're talking about just now, and it does look really cool, actually.
Oh,
so.
I definitely would give this a recommendation. This is one of my, again, one of my more positive games that we've spoken about in the past. Like some have been positive, some have been negative, but that's the point of a gaming podcast. Is that you point out what is good and what is bad. Like there has to be negatives as well as positives. So this is definitely a negative for me. Like I said, there's not much to go into without spoiling too much as what happens, but you are alone on this base, this space station, and you've got to solve puzzles in order to progress. I felt sometimes there was the puzzles like, I don't know what I need to do, and there are things there, and I don't want to give it too much away, but there's some things there that doesn't make it so much a horror game. But if you fail, I must point out, if you do fail a puzzle, you have to restart,
Oof.
and there's no progression without solving what happens around you. You'll go back to certain areas, but you find that now and again you need to have. I think there's an AI which is in the shape of a sphere, as I remember, and it rotates around the base, and it opens doors for you, and then once you've done that, the camera then goes back into your sort of perspective so you can control your the character that you play. It's just so atmospheric as well. Like there's so much that happens, and like I said, there's a lot of lore there, so you pick up some story along the way as to what, and eventually things progress, and then it starts to become what has happened to this, what has happened. You go, well, why did it happen? And you solve the puzzle. So if you're into, like, I would say Sherlock Holmes type games where you're solving puzzles and putting pieces together and also doing physical puzzles, not just solving the riddle of what's gone on, but also solving like actual puzzles to progress to the next area. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked it up. It is on Steam. It's currently it's $19.99. Like literally, I'd pay that. I mean, I have got it. I've got it already. So, I don't think it was that expensive when it first came out. I mean, it may have been maybe a little bit more than that, but if anything, maybe £10 more than that. You think when is it? It was it came out in 2019. I thought it was 2018, but yeah, 10th of October.
It was
2019.
about on was it Epic? It's like £34, I think, so around there right now.
Yeah, so get it on Steam. It's a lot cheaper, but it might be on If it's on PlayStation, you might be on the store. It might be one of those like monthly free games that they normally do. I think Game Pass. I'm not sure if it's on Game Pass. It'd be interesting to find out. I haven't really got that information. But if it's on Game Pass as well, jump in. It's not costing you anything. All right, apart from your subscription, obviously. But yeah, give it a go. Have a look at it. Try and find it. Put it on your wish list. I mean, it is a couple of years old, but so it's
interesting.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a very.
I like puzzle games and stuff. So yeah,
it's like I've played Alien Isolation. I like that atmosphere of being on Alien's obviously a horror game, whereas this is less of a horror game, more of a thriller, like an action sort of adventure set in space. But it's it's got that same sort of atmosphere where you're alone. You're the only person that's alive, and that in itself is kind of creepy. That creepiness of being alone and not knowing what's going to happen and not knowing what creatures are around the corner. But I really enjoyed that game. It was great fun.
I'm tempted to try it out.
It's like I said, it's not a real long game. You might do 20 hours. You might be able to speed run it without a little bit quicker than that. I say speed run it. I mean, not in that professional speed run. I mean, in that a normal player speed run it of getting through without reading everything.
All right, yeah, yes.
So yeah, in that sort of sense of the word, I'm sure there are speedrunners who probably completed the game in about 2 minutes. Like it's, once you get
teleport
past
through.
Yeah, teleporting and stuff like that. We're not talking about that, but we are talking about literally getting through in maybe in a few hours. But the narrative of it was really good, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, there's going to be some space walking as well, so you get that sense of being in space and floating. Like I said, I played a game which I briefly mentioned called Alive, and I had the same sort of thing. You've got to get your thrust and pitch correct, otherwise you start wobbling around, which I'm not very good at. I'm no good at flight sims for that reason, because I can't do them.
I'm bad at that too.
I can't do them, but that
awkward. It's awkward trying to fly a plane.
trying to go forward, and then all you're doing is pitching to the right, and you're like, I'm going to straighten up, and I'll crash.
You straighten up too much, and
everything's sort of everything's inverted. When you put the controller inverted, it becomes the opposite. He's like, I don't know what I've done now. I've confused myself more than anything. But yeah, I can't fly. But this does have that. You could sort of like slow yourself down. I think I played this at EGX, the gaming convention in London.
Okay.
And I was like, this looks good. I might add this. But then I was like, at the time, I'm a PlayStation owner. I didn't have a PC. So, you know, it took me a few years to get a PC. But now I've got one. I've converted almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, this looks good. I will try it out. And I was not disappointed. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they're going to have. Oh, it looks like they're bringing out a Martha's Dead a dark first-person psychological thriller. I think it's from the same makers, so add it to your wish list. So there's a new game coming out from this developer. So I think this is their first game, and I've just noticed that on the Steam page that it looks like there's going to be another one from them. So I might actually look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, there we go. I can't speak. Deliver Us the Moon. Currently, as I said, on Steam at $19.99. Epic was $34.99. Is that what I think you said? I'm not sure if it's available on the Game Pass. If you've got Game Pass, it's worth looking into, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have to curious to check that.
But yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, if you like things like, I would say, A Space Odyssey, Interstellar,
Oh yeah.
and you know, if you like those as films, I think this gives you that same sort of immersion. Like you're immersed in those sort of like that sort of like feeling of not knowing what is around the corner and what's going to happen. And that in itself is scary enough. So it doesn't have to be a horror game to make you feel scared. It's just creepy.
Very true.
But yeah, Deliver Us the Moon. That was my spotlight of this year, and my last one of this year. No.
Yeah, we'll be back there. I want to talk about just quickly Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1.
Yes, brilliant.
I've been playing through it a bit. I haven't managed to play it too much this week, but I played the last couple of weeks before that, and I play a bit of gameplay in the background here. But so this game, it's have we talked? We haven't really talked about it, have we, on the podcast?
No, we haven't. No.
Okay. So basically, this game is set when Sherlock is a bit more younger, when he's not quite the famous detective that we know, and it kind of we go to Cordana, whatever the island's called, where Sherlock grew up, and he's trying to figure out how his mother died. I think she was probably murdered or something, but I haven't got that far yet. But so far, all the missions I've done have been brilliant. It's kind of like the other ones, where you have an inspection mode, you connect evidence you find. There's this cool mind palace thing where you control John, who is our imaginary friend. So he's not John Watson, which is weird. I don't know why they decided to do that, but John is in Sherlock's head and he's his imaginary friend since he was a child. So yeah, I will say that so far the story's brilliant, the voice acting brilliant, the atmosphere of Cordana is awesome. I will say that even though there's a lot going on, it does still feel empty, if that makes sense. It still feels like there's not too much going on, even though there's still people, but they're not really interacting with you that much. And I don't know, there's something about the atmosphere that just doesn't sit quite right, but it's still a good atmosphere. But there's just something there that doesn't really, still feels a bit bland in a way. Um, the graphics are really good as well. I will say that it needs what's optimization.
Optimization.
That's it. Yeah. It definitely needs some of that because I'll be running around the world and it'd just be stuttering a bit, and it kind of, stuttering always affects your experience.
Yeah.
So that's a little annoying, but apart from that, it's really it looks amazing and it runs well apart from the stutters and stuff. Um what was I gonna Oh yeah, so also Sherlock in this game, uh you can have moments where you have to disguise yourself because Sherlock's quite known for his disguises. And in the game, some cases require you to do a certain disguise to get into, maybe a base or someone's house, or you can only talk to someone while you're like you look a certain way. And I really love that element in the game. It's really cool. Um, but yeah, I generally just I've always loved puzzle games. Like I was saying earlier, I like puzzle games, and I've always loved the Sherlock games. Um, I played, Devil's Daughter, and what was the other one? Crime and Punishment. So I played that one too, and I loved those games. Absolutely loved them. And I'm so happy that they made another one and it's out and I can play it. And yeah, I just really enjoying it. I have no idea how far I am into the game. The last mission, one of the last missions I did, I was trying to find an elephant. So um, that's all I'll say. I won't spoil it.
All right.
But
Okay.
that's one of the last missions I remember doing. But yeah, it's just a cool game. It's just I will say I'm a little disappointed that we're not in London, in like a old London kind of thing, because I do like those kind of atmosphere, like that kind of atmosphere in a game. But that's where he is like based. So every Sherlock game would probably be based in there. So it's cool that they've kind of decided to adventure out from London and decided to do something somewhere else that completely different from what we know. I don't know if Cordona, I don't know, I'm not sure if this is based on any books or anything. I don't think it is, but it could be. I don't know. I haven't done too much research on that. But I recommend this to anyone who likes Sherlock, who love puzzle games, who love crime, love mysteries, murder mysteries, stuff like that. And if you love just I wouldn't I wouldn't say fun. I'd say it's interesting, but it's also a little fun. Um, yeah. So that's who is it? Frogware game. Frogware. I think it's Frogware. Maybe he made it. I can't actually remember, but they make excellent games, and I recommend this. I'm not sure how much it is currently. Let me have a look real quick. Shark. So it's about £40 right now, and it's got very good positive reviews. And I will say, in the other games, I think they were kind of open world, but in this game, it's open, like completely open world. Like you can go wherever you want. You can do missions any way you like. It's just, you know, it's um, it's awesome, and I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
the new DLC has come out actually. The Beyond a Joke DLC that came out yesterday. So if you have Sherlock, you can play the new DLC. I don't know what's about yet. I haven't even got through the main game yet. So yeah, that's
it it
fine.
Yeah, no, I picked this up. I think I probably bought it but for you. I played a little bit of
Yeah.
it, probably not as much as you, but I will agree with you on the. Seems to be a little bit of frame rate issues that I was getting right from the start. I was like, oh, is this me or the game? And now that you've seemed to have mentioned it as well. That you're mentioning it as well. That it is more of a game
Yeah,
issue.
I think a lot of people have been
Yeah. So it's
having that issue. So it's not just you or me.
yeah. So
A lot of people.
I'm rather relieved in some ways that it wasn't me,
Yeah,
but disappointed at the same time because it means that if it's the game, then it's not like you said. It's not optimized completely.
Yeah, but I'm sure there'll
Yeah.
be updates in the
There'll be
future.
updates. Yeah, of course it will.
Maybe the most recent DLC update, maybe that kind of maybe they sorted some issues out. Maybe have to look into that. But yeah, hopefully they sort it out in the future because it 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 doesn't like fully affect the experience, but it's kind of like like when it happens, you're like, oh, stop it, you're like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's annoying. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it like I said, this is my first dive into a Sherlock game, and I was like, do I want to get this, or should I go back to one, or should I start from the beginning and go back? You get when I first bought this, it might have been as a release thing, I'm not sure, but I did get Crimes and Punishment.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned it to you. Yeah, so I got that by buying the game on release. So I guess I could go, stop where I am and then maybe go back, play that first. I don't know. What do you recommend doing that as a? You've followed this a lot more than I have. So
I mean, I would play chapter 1 first because that's set before any of the games
it
that
is a
came
prequel.
out.
Yeah.
So play chapter 1. I mean, you can play in any order you want. It's not going to affect.
They're all standalone. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to affect how you like. It's not like a. They're not connected,
No.
but they are in
within the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can play those two, and then chapter 1. You can play chapter 1, and then those games. It's chapter 1, then it's Crime and Punishment, and then it's Devil's Daughter. That's
right.
I believe that's the.
That's the actual chronological order in which they are intended to have been. So although chapter 1 came out just now, those other games came out before. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's
brilliant.
It like I said, it's my first sort of dive into it, and I just there's a lot of mechanics to get your head round. Like you've got
I mean, coming from the mechanics for me are quite like I'm used to them, but obviously you're a new player, so they're probably like, oh, how does this work? How does that work? What mechanic are you having most difficulty with?
No, it's just getting used to those. Like I felt maybe they've added too many mechanics in order to investigate a crime scene.
Okay.
Like maybe that was just thrown at me quite quickly, and I'm not used to it yet. Whereas, like you said, you are. So you get first introduced, like you've got to do like it's kind of like Arkham's, Batman style, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that sense that you go into you get like a bit of a view of what happened. You've got to piece things together, so you've got to draw things together, bring things together to work out what happened in the scene. So then you go, is it this put this here, it's like the Sinking City as well had the same sort of mechanic.
I need to play that, but I haven't got around to it yet. But that's kind of in that genre, right?
It's got that same sort of like detective mode that Batman has. There's what I'm saying is that there's been a few games like that. So I was kind of used to that bit, but then there's another thing that you have to zoom into something, bring the coin up to you, twist it around, and then you go,
that could be awkward.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of awkwardness there, but again, I think it's just me getting used to the mechanics rather than me finding it too much. Like I've learned one mechanic, I've got to go and learn another mechanic, and then I think there's about 3 maybe 4 different types in order to, like, you go into the John's diary. Is it John's diary or the journal? You go to a journal. Yeah. You got to piece together, matching up the 2 bits of evidences. Like
to make one evidence.
To make one bit of evidence, right? Exactly.
You connect it all together.
Yeah. So I'm
And
like, okay.
talking about that, the thing is, if you come to a conclusion of who you think did the crime, the game does not tell you if you're right. So you don't know if you put the right person
Yeah.
in jail or whatever.
I
So that can be a bit annoying because you're like, I wanted to know, but sometimes you don't know, which is annoying.
well, we could
You
talk.
know.
You could talk about the first case because I've done that now. So the first
Oh yeah,
case,
so that okay. What was it?
which is like the introduction of the game,
Oh,
really.
and you go into that hotel, right?
The
And
hotel, yeah, and there's been
the
a theft
murder.
and then the
Yes, a
murder.
theft.
Yeah,
Yes, a theft and then a murder. Yeah. Can't remember too much, but there's a medium, and he's trying to scare people. Uh, there's this man. Can't remember his name, but his wife wasn't him, and no wait, the wife and the medium wanted to run away together. Was that right?
I think there was that happening, and the husband sort of found out that there was a bit of funny going on between
Yeah.
them, and
I don't know if they wanted to run away. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. The um. So the guy goes back to like after the incident where the medium was doing a show or something, and it scares his wife. I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name? That
I
guy
can't
was beaten
remember
up.
no, I can't remember all the names straight away now. I was like, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
but it was, yeah, no, I get it. I mean, like the guy was also the husband was a bit of a drinker, liked to drink. I think he was a
He
bit of
did.
a. It could be a bit sort of rough around the edges. He was like, "Oh, did he kill out of vengeance,
Yeah.
or did because the wife's now found dead, and then she's the one with the diamond. There's a diamond involved, and it's like, okay, I've got to try and do this investigation. Who is it? And then you find other clues along the way that discover that the medium is a bit of a fraud anyway.
That's right.
And like, I'm not spoiling anything. It's like
No.
literally the right at the start of the game. It's like it's the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
case that you
That's
have
the
to try
fun.
and solve, and it's
Yeah.
also which introduces you how to use the mechanics. So you've got to
Yeah.
do that.
It's a very good introduction to the mechanics.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
I'm
even
looking forward to go. I want to get back into it, but I think I've had so many, what with a change of job and stuff. It's like I've got
oh
so
yeah.
many
Exactly.
games coming out that I wanted to
Yes.
try, especially what with trying to do the podcasters and playing games on my own time, which I don't get much time to do.
Yeah.
Mostly, if I'm playing games, I'm playing it on stream. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back into it because why spend that money and not play it? Obviously, um, but yeah, I'm going to go back into it. It is a good game, and graphically, like I said, like you pointed out, it's really nice graphically. It's just now and again you get that little frame rate happen
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, it's a bit of a stutter. It's kind of disappointing, but
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, it's not there, but they might fix the optimization at some point. So hopefully that steadies down. I think they have made it for a much more. Maybe they've made it for a much more higher PC. I don't know. But anyway, no,
So
it's Frogwares, like you said, developed and published by Frogwares. It is detective open world, rich story, rich. It's obviously mystery. Like you said, it's the prequel to the first two games that came out, the Crime and
I think
Punishment and the
I think
Devil's.
it I think it's prequel to two first games, or it could be prequel to every Sherlock game. I don't
Yeah,
know, but
because like you said,
it's
he's a younger.
yeah. So it could be before any of the Sherlock games that have been released already. But
It's
I don't know that.
it's interesting when you pointed out John. I'm like, is he dead? Is he
Yeah,
because he seems to appear when we first go in, and he's like he seems to be sat in the most peculiar ways. Like, why
that's
did no
what.
one notice? And it's like, no, he's got to be a ghost or dead or
Yeah, because
he's not really there.
when I first playing it and I saw John, he was like sitting in a weird place, like uh there's been other games where you see something and they're sitting in a place or a weird position, and like it kind of ticked me like, oh, he's he must be either a ghost or he's out like in our head.
Yeah,
And then uh, uh, as you go through it kind of confirms that yes, he is
he
indeed
is. Yeah,
in your head. And I find it a little weird that that's how they've decided to do it, because isn't is it John Watson?
John Watson. Yeah,
Isn't he a real person? Like
he was.
it's strange. It's very strange. I don't know why they decided to do that.
There was a thing. Well, depending on from what point of view you watched either films or read books or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he was always supposed to be the brains behind the outfit, but depending on
Oh,
what point of view you watched it from, some
yeah.
some films introduced that idea that he was just the brains, and Sherlock was the brawn because he fought. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like you said about the London scene. It was. I was surprised that we weren't set in London again. If they've done it before, why continue to do that? Because it's good that they've moved on out of their comfort zone, if you will. You
Yeah.
know, he should be able to travel the world, and I think early on he did travel the world,
Yeah.
within the book. So
Yeah.
it's good that
And
they've taken
also,
that point of view.
sorry.
That's
Yeah, because it's called Chapter One, I think there'll be more chapters. So
yes,
maybe we will end up going to London, like build up to where he becomes the famous Sherlock Holmes detective, you know?
yeah. Do
So
you I don't know if you can answer this now, but do you know how far in the game, if they just stay within the world that they're in, or do they? Is there a to and fro?
I don't know. I can't really say.
Not sure.
I think it might stay in Cordona, but
Yeah,
I don't know. We could venture somewhere else. But I don't think I'm
whether or not that could be chapter two,
yeah,
three, or even four, whatever they decide to bring out. But yeah,
yeah,
that's really good. I'm glad you
yeah.
picked up on that one today. I was
Anyways.
because
It's the last
at
one,
least I
the
can.
last spotlight, right?
Yeah, the last spotlight. That is
So
now the last
come in
spotlight.
strong.
Coming in strong.
Yeah.
Yes. On a positive. We came in on a positive. We're going out on a positive. Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad, because I'm glad I'd picked that up as well. So then I can at least feel like I could round it off
Talk
and
about it.
talk about it a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
Not that anyone has to, you know.
No, of course not. Of
No.
course not. Yes.
Um.
We're saying our experiences and we like it.
Yes. Exactly. It's always nice just to have that extra input
Mhm.
to something.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the spotlights done then.
Yeah.
The last
Yeah.
spotlights of the year. Shall we move on to some highlights then? Highlights of
Yeah.
2021.
Yes. So we can either do uh our gaming highlights, like,
Yeah.
or we can do games that we played.
Should we do?
I mean, it's up to you.
Doesn't matter what order we. Should we look at some high? No, let's do the highlights last. Let's do some
Okay.
games that. Let's talk about the games that we've played first, and then we'll do.
Okay.
I think we should save the highlights literally for the end. That's a good way to do it, and it's a good order to go in, and it'd be a great way to end on with the highlights.
Okay.
So yeah, let's. Have we got a list of games, or do you want to talk about? Do you have anything? Do you want to go start off?
I got two games that I really enjoyed this year. Well, three actually, because
Okay.
Sherlock is one,
Sherlock.
but two. The other two I've really enjoyed is Phasmophobia.
Yes.
Phasmophobia has been a true highlight of this year. It's
Yeah.
been so fun to play with friends and just have a laugh, have some scares, have some boggling moments of like, how is that possible? And yeah, it's just overall really enjoying it. And I'm excited for the future and to just keep playing with everyone. And maybe one day I'll get to level 1000, maybe. But I don't know.
You'll get
So yeah, and my other game, well, they're both horror games really, and my other one is Resident Evil Village.
Fudge.
Village. Yes, and that game truly was amazing. It scared me, and I kind of got a little teary at the end of, because the ending
Yeah.
was quite, and for some reason I got a little sad and a little tear came out of my eye. And that's doesn't really happen with games, and I don't know why it happened there. But yeah, really enjoyed that game. Scared me, especially with the baby scene, baby bit. That was really terrifying. I'm tempted. I'm very excited for the DLC, very excited, and I'm tempted to maybe play it again, like go through it again. Like a kind of like a speed run. Maybe have infinite ammo, or like that mod, like
Yeah.
infinite ammo, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
But that game was just amazing. Graphics, story was weird, and the gameplay was really fun. And I love Resident Evil games, and that was a great addition to the franchise. And I'm excited for the future of Resident Evil. But yeah, that's my two games that I've really enjoyed this year. Yeah, that's mine.
Uh,
Do you have it?
yeah. No. Well, I played The Village as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. I agree. There was some good times in that. Like we said, we spoke about it with the gaming awards. Like, it wasn't the best game. I don't think it was the best
no,
Resident Evil game. To be fair,
no,
I think I preferred 7 than 8 overall
yeah,
in
mhm,
a series. But in a gaming sense, what I've played this year, I did enjoy Resident Evil Village. I thought it was really good. It was a good start. Um, yeah, it was, like, again, I agree with you. There was some moments in it that you just go, oh no, why? And really? And
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
that all at the same time. And it's like,
yeah.
oh, here we go. And
Here we go again.
it's another Resident Evil. Again, they've kept that first person sort of thing with what they did. And it does continue that story of Ethan.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that, like you said, the whole baby thing is kind of like, that was kind of like, no, why? Why are they doing it?
that
Why? Just why? No,
that's
no.
that still haunts my nightmares, to be honest.
But yeah, that was a good good game. Um, my other game that it was a third in the series.
Yeah.
Um, it was a third in the series. I'm just reading. I know we don't normally do this, but I've just reading chat. But Ethan was a mushroom. I got that. Thank you, Jelly. Yeah. So anyone who's not in, just from my chat today. I know, like we said, we don't normally talk to chat, but yeah, I just felt like that was a moment I had to point out. But yeah, it's a mushroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other game, or highlight of the game, I did stream it right at the start. It came out in January. It was Hitman 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think, was it Hitman 3? Yeah, or Hitman 2, I don't know. One of them, old old baldy, old slaphead, back in it at it again. And I think it is a trilogy. I think it is like from the new sort of like
Yeah, it's like
the
the new
IO.
trilogy.
Yeah, it's a new type of trilogy. That's just a fun. That is just a fun game. You just go in, and you just bold as brass. Like, you go in, killing anyone that you want, really, or not killing anyone, depending on how you wanted to play it. Obviously it's a stealth action assassin. It's a single player experience. It was just a fun game. Again, it's the third in the installment. But it was so fun, and I think I played it on. I got it from Epic Store, so I got it from there. Like I said, it was right at the start of the year. I gave it a go. I played the first two. I might as well play the third. I mean, yes, it's kind of copy and paste in some areas. We're in different locations, but again, it's a fun game. It's not something that you can put down and say, yeah, it's the game of the year. We've already discussed that in the last couple of episodes, what we thought the game of the year was. But yeah, literally picked it up, did a few, because I think by that point I weren't really sort of getting a lot of streaming done, but it was like I might stream a little bit of this, and when I weren't streaming, I was playing it. We were still, and again, it was one of those lockdown games. A lot of my games that I enjoyed because I was able to play them and put
Yeah.
more attention to them.
Yeah.
You know, so Hitman was one of my games that I haven't spoke about before, but felt like it was worth a mention.
Definitely.
Honorable mentions, if you like, I suppose, for the year.
Yeah.
But again, one of my favorite, even though it didn't come out this year, but one of my favorite go-to games has to be Phasmo, and it will always be there. 100%. It's like, oh, I wish we'd done this podcast last year, because I would have absolutely said, look, please go out and buy it. You know what? You can still buy it. It's still available. It's still available. And it's still available.
Do it. Don't do it.
Do it now. Do it now. And there's there's an update which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, there's I don't know if I have it anywhere. I can't remember if I have where it was. I did have I think I've deleted it. I think I got rid of the website accidentally, unfortunately. But it gave me a lot. Oh no, this might be it. Maybe. No, that's not it. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I was just trying to look for some information. Unfortunately, that wasn't available. But yeah. Was it this one? Oh, might be this one. Let me bring up this just quickly. I'm just going to quickly bring this up. Yeah, so going back to the year that we had, Valheim, obviously, that came out. That was another game that me and Freddie played a lot. I know he's not with us today, but I'm sure he would agree that at the start it was good, but then it became bad later on. Again, I put a lot of hours into it just because I could. It was one of those at the time games.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hitman, that came out. Like I said, what else came out this year? I'm trying to think what else came out.
To be honest, there's been
so
many games.
There has been quite a lot.
Because I was looking earlier at like a list of all the games that came out this year, just to pick out ones that I've played.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I haven't played like a lot of these, like half of them.
There's a lot that I never got a chance.
Like, so we might be like, it might be like a great game that's on that list, and we haven't touched on it or played it. And we're sorry, but we can't play every game.
Well, unfortunately, you don't. I mean, we looked at the again. We looked at the Game Awards in the last couple of podcasts. So, not to echo and take from that too much, which is hard not to do, because that's the point of the Gaming Awards, is to look at what games we thought were good. I mean, Scarlet Nexus, I thought that was a good game. Again, never put much into it because I was too busy playing other games. Loop Hero, another great indie game, which I really enjoyed. I'd already spoken about Gods of the Curse. Gods of the Curse? No, that's not right, is it? Curse of the Dead Gods.
That one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was actually a fun one to play. That was a action roguelike dark fantasy, kind of similar to Hades when that first came out. Again, Hades, I went back to that just because I wanted to play that. It was another great game. I've already covered that as one of my spotlights in the previous podcast. That's another good game to go through. Like you said, there is so many to talk about, and you can't squeeze them all in. And I was just trying to find a list, and unfortunately, I couldn't find one. So literally, all I'm doing is off the top of my head. New World came out this year. New World, we've all played. Yeah. Me, you, Freddie, have played. We played that.
Unfortunately, it's not doing too well.
No, it isn't. Sadly enough, I know that was part of our news segment a couple of weeks ago. We're saying
I don't know the current affair that it's in, but I haven't personally played it for like a few weeks now. Like, so
yeah,
I don't. sometimes that happens. You play a game and you enjoy it to begin with, and then it kind of like gets a bit, But I'll probably try to play it again in the future.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those. If you can go back to it, do it now because you want to keep that player base levels quite high. We were talking about player bases on, I think last week, where like when Hood came out, Hood Legends,
Outlast.
last time. The player base on that, that was a bad game. That was a bad choice. That was a bad game that I picked up, and I never went back to it. That's the difference between a good games and the bad games. You're gonna have one or the other or both. Sometimes at the same time. You're never gonna get. You can't always have good games.
It's true. Yeah.
And we do mention that quite often. Actually, we do say that. It's not to repeat ourselves, but we are a podcast, and sometimes people might skip some episodes. How dare you?
How dare you?
Watch them in order, or watch them in any order you want. We've got 9 of them.
No, you must watch them in order.
There's 8 other There's 8 other episodes before this one.
Yeah.
Just go out there, find yourself, whatever platform you listen to your music on, you should be able to find us on there. I know I'm plugging it. I don't care. It's the end of the.
It's our
podcast. So we can do what we want.
We can plug it.
We can plug it. I don't care. But yeah, I had a lot of fun this year. Despite some of the bad gaming experiences. But some of the fun that we had came in the should we, before we move on, I know I was going to segue into that last segment, should we move on? Before we move on, should we discuss the Phasmo update?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I know as I've actually been reminded, I'm looking at the chat now, it's a good example of developers getting it right and listening to the players. You're absolutely right, Jelly. Yeah. So let's bring up the information. I'm going to bring up Phasmo, so we can look at just touch on some of the. There we go. I mean, look, it's only $10.99, but let's have a look at the current. It's still in early access. It's still, as a note says, early access. I mean, that's crazy. Is there any? What was the update? I do.
Yes.
I think I had it on my own Steam page. I think reading it from the website Steam page doesn't always have the information you're looking for. Well, it should do, but I can't find it. But yeah, it recently had a Christmas update.
Yes.
If I go
there. Is it the Cursed Possessions?
It is Cursed Possessions patch 0.5.0.2. Yeah, so let's click on to that then. December the 13th was the new one. So let's go through that then. I can bring that up on. There we go. I mean, you might be able to read that. Changes. So this is like what they've done is they brought out. Is it just the changes? Let's go. I'm going to go down to the cursed objects first of all. Before we just go, I'm not going to look into too much into the fixes. We could look at that, I suppose. But let's go to what they brought out. So obviously they updated it for the Christmas. So there's Christmas lighting in certain areas. If you go to the campsite, that's very pretty now. It's got little pretty lights around it. Yeah,
I haven't been there yet.
You haven't been there yet, but yeah. The lobby obviously has been updated. Obviously the player lobby. So the Cursed Possessions, which is what came out just recently. I know we briefly spoke about it, but we're going to go through them again. So yeah, there is each location will feature one of 6 items randomly chosen at the start of each contract. There are several spawn points for each item, so get searching. Yes. There is a music box. Reports show of paranormal entities singing along to this haunting melody. Don't get too close or you may get a nasty surprise. There is a tortured voodoo doll. Force a pin into the doll to trigger a reaction from the ghost, but you may lose more than you gain. there is the Haunted Mirror, a visual portal into the spectral realm. Dare you peer inside to find a ghost room? I have. I have.
You know, I'd
And
like to do that.
it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
I
Summoning
want to do
circle.
that.
Summoning circle. Risk your life by summoning the ghost and trapping it temporarily. Don't stay too long. It's a break free eventually. That's
Oh,
a good
that's
way.
cool.
That's a good way if you want to spawn it in and get. If it says get a picture of the ghost, that is a very good way to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Take a picture of a goat and then run. Once you've got the
Yeah.
ghost, leg it. Get out.
Yeah, get out there.
Tarot card. Sorry, was you going to say something? I thought I cut you off. No. Oh, sorry. Tarot cards. A deck of 10 random cards, each with a unique mystical property. I've never done this with anybody. I've done it on my own, but the moment I found them, I got the ghost was behind me, even though that wasn't the ghost room.
Oh,
And he was behind me, and he just caught me and just killed me. I was like, no, it's horrible. The Ouija board. Now we know about the Ouija board. It's been in the game from the get go. It's been in since vanilla.
it has, right?
But it's now been called a cursed object. So the Ouija board is now a cursed object, a cursed possession, and has received a new visual. So yeah, it looks slightly different. It now has a placard, sort of like the triangle, which
cool.
so that it doesn't actually goes round, and you must say goodbye, otherwise something will happen. And actually, there we go. The Ouija board.
I might just try that to see what happens.
Yeah. Don't say goodbye. Yeah, I did, because when I find the Ouija board, I'll go to the van and get a photo and get a camera and come back, and then something had happened. I was like, oh well, I can't do that now. So because that gives you XP and extra cash. It's yes, it's any of those will give you extra cash for finding them, as long as you get a photo of it. It's like finding the bone. Find the bone, find the cursed item, which, regardless of whatever it is, get a picture of those. That will give you an extra bonus. Yeah, it's the same as trying to find fingerprints as well. Excuse me. Right, yeah, so say goodbye. The Ouija board, right, we covered that now. The ghost identities have been changed as well in this update. The shy ghost, often hiding in plain sight, only showing itself when truly necessary. These have been highlighted because there have been significant changes to the vanilla roster of the ghosts that originally came out. So whereas they should be when in the first journal, that when the game first launched, it told you about what the ghost did, but often or not it never did that. They've now corrected those. So now the poltergeist, it does throw a lot of items, and if you're lucky to spot it, and I was prior to these updates, then yeah, it'll do it now. It'll do everything it says it did. So yeah, the ghost that loves to throw things. Watch out. The banshee, the singing siren. Siren, yeah. Yeah, the ghost, it can hunt near or far. The banshee's rare ability to hunt at any sanity percentage has been moved to the demon. So
the demon can now
hunt at an earlier stage. So I played it with our friend Master Wolf, John. I think he's in the chat right now. So yeah, hi John.
Hello.
Yeah, and hello Jelly as well. I should point out. I know I've already mentioned that, but I don't want to leave people out, Anyway, yeah. We had a banshee at the start, and I called it. I was like, "That's a banshee," and I think I died. I died, but I went. No, I think what it was. I'll tell you what it was. I went against my own judgment. I went against my own. I knew it was a banshee because it hunted from the start, from the get go. As soon as you walked into the house, the sanity's dropped down to 70% average. Normally a ghost will hunt around 50%, which is kind of designed, by the, that's what it's designed for. but the banshee hunt you straight away. The most aggressive and dangerous ghost we've ever witnessed. Jinn, these ghosts love to chase, hide before they see you. Yeah, so Jinn can catch up to you, but then slow down at a normal pace once it gets near you. Unlike the Revenant will just continuously catch up to you and go beyond your speed.
All right.
So yeah, the Hontu, the
Hontu?
cold has empowered the ghost so much it's starting to show. So the Hontu will
I haven't
hunt.
seen it yet.
Hontu, I've had it twice today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just terrifying at times. But it hunts when it's more cold, so in colder areas.
Okay.
Not necessarily freezing though. Don't think about that as a freezing thing.
Oh, so if it's just low temperature,
it's just going to be a low temperature. Yeah. So
okay.
having the power on is a good thing to have for the Hontu,
Oh.
but having the power off is a good thing to have against the Jinn, because the Jinn can't use its ability if the power's off. So so if you don't discover which one it is, you don't know what one you've got. You might get a Jinn, you might get a Hontu, and you don't know. So yeah, the mare. Again, it's been optimized a little bit better. The thing that goes bump in the night, thriving in the dark. It prefers the dark, so if it turns off power, usually it could lead towards a mare. The only new reports show many more sightings. Maybe these ghosts enjoy the fear in people's eyes. Yokai. Be quiet. You wouldn't want to wake it. So yeah, that works on the basis that it's more likely to hear you at a distance, or and hunt you if it was closer to you. Urays, master of insanity. Making anyone crazy who comes into contact with. I found this out as well. If you do witness a Uray, your sanity drops by 10% each time. Plus being in the dark. So that's quite a big. I think it's 10%. So if you go in with 100%, you see it straight away. You should drop down to about 90, 80, 88% sort of thing. It's like 10 or 12%. What's new? Let's have a look.
We don't need to go through the changes.
No, we don't need to go through the changes or the fixes. But the new. Yes, of course, we do need to cover this. For the duration of the holiday period, the Maple campsite weather will always be snowing and has received new seasonal decorations.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
The Mimic, the most intriguing ghost type we've ever encountered. So again, it's another ghost that they've added since Halloween. If you remember Halloween, they added, I think, 4. This is now 5 since then.
They're adding so many.
So now there's 5 new ghosts since the game launched.
Yeah.
In such a short duration, like overall, obviously they've added other 3 other ghosts prior to that, but since Halloween, this is now another one. So, got to get used to it. Now, 2 new tabs have been added. Oh, I must point out the Mimic. It says in the journal. If you read the journal, it does actually say, it's been known to have an orb. Now, I think we experienced this. We played a bit earlier today, didn't we? But I said, be careful of orbs. Don't automatically tick it off, because bear it in mind there is an orb there. Because the Mimic uses orbs as part of its trick to make you think it's a different ghost.
Right.
So I think that, and I think fingerprints I think they can come up sometimes. But yeah, if you get that combination, I can't remember the actual combination that the Mimic uses. Yeah. But if you get an orb, I've actually found it twice, and I played solo off stream just to, earn some money, because I had burnt all my money out. I got down to $5, spent all my last credits just restocking stuff. But yeah, be wary of that. The new tabs have been added to 2 new tabs have been added for journal, easier navigation, home, and items. Several questions have been added to the Ouija board, such as how did you die? Almost every object has had its impact sounds replaced to match its material. So yeah, if you throw a can on the floor, it'll sound like a can thrown on the floor. If you throw piece of plastic on the floor. It sounded like a heavy piece of plastic, like
Oh,
you
okay.
know, the what would that be?
That's
I
cool.
suppose the thermometer. You know,
Yeah.
crunching
Okay.
sounds underfoot are changed to the sound on what you're
Oh
walking on
yeah.
now.
I
Surface
noticed that, and
sounds.
I thought it was the ghost.
Yeah,
I was walking. I was like, What is that noise?" But it was me. It was my character. So yeah.
yeah. It's you now. Yeah. Yeah. New sounds have been added to as we just said, the footsteps and sprinting on different surfaces. All large rugs and floor mats now have collision, so you might trip. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but yeah. We don't need to go for the changes. We don't need to go for the fixes. But yeah, that's the new update for the Christmas update. The cursed items. Something that we can jump into at some point over this weekend, I guess. Maybe after the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's all right. Yeah, so there we go. That's Phasmo's update. We're always going to keep you up to date on these updates, as and when they come out, or whichever is closest to the next podcast, I suppose, or to that week's podcast, I should say. So yeah, that's it. That's everything we've covered there. I think,
Yeah. We've covered all the
unless you wanted
things.
to add anything on that.
No, I'm just excited to,
Get
experience
stuck
some
to
of
experience.
it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Right. So what is it? Should we go through the highlights now? Are we ready to do that?
Yeah.
I think we might be. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to leave the window open. Right. This. Yeah. Right. So over the past 12 months, I've got to know 3D, Beth. I mean, I know that they're in Ian, John. I mean, I got to know all these lovely, wonderful people, and one other I was gonna say character. Yeah, I suppose he's character. Everyone's got a bit of a character to him. Expence, otherwise known as Alex, and we played some games. We played a lot of games over this past 12 months. So I just want to go through some of those. I want to share those moments. Me and Beth were in a lot of these. I wish I had a compilation. I'm just gonna borrow from Alex's stream or his YouTube. I hope he doesn't mind. Alex, don't
I'm
come
sure
at
he
me.
doesn't mind.
Right, I'm gonna play this one first. And then we'll go through some of them. We'll talk about it. We can play it first and then maybe look at it. If I
Yeah,
can
yeah, sure.
get my cursor over to this. So let's play this. I don't know if you have this.
I have it on.
Right, this is Pacifier.
Oh, it's like,
What the hell?
oh yeah. I
Grandpa
remember
Joe
this.
in the ass. Come on, Grandpa Joe.
You got yourself a new girlfriend there, Jeagles, have you?
Is that
this is-
sister?
Oh, you
This is-
got yourself a
yeah,
new
this is-
Jeagles.
This is me.
Get it in,
3D.
get it in.
There we go. I've got it.
We did it, we did it.
That was the creepiest shit I've ever seen.
Oh my
in
god,
life.
there he
What
is.
was that?
Look at it, check
Oh,
out
hello.
his behind. He has got a sexy
What?
butt on it.
What a hat on.
It's a handsome.
Just oh no, days. This is just.
Go on.
Oh. I jumped then. Yeah. That was just so. Recap then. Those what we just sort of witnessed were. I was invited to play.
YouTube, how are you doing? And welcome
Oh,
back to Phasmophobia.
Sorry. I had the problem with YouTube is that it can't sometimes it continues on a video. I just had a video continuously play and I didn't mean for that to happen. So yeah, so let me just stop that. Yeah, so with some of Alex's streams and that I've joined with you as well, Beth. I don't think you was in that one, but it was me,
No.
Jeagles, Alex, 3D. We just played some Pacifier. If you're not seeing it already, Pacifier is basically you go around, you got to try and pacify this possessed
Crazy woman.
ghost woman, child.
Girl. I
Yeah,
don't know what.
I don't know what her age is. I don't know. doesn't matter. She's possessed.
Yeah.
A Linda Blair kind of person. So you just go around and you've got to try and burn dolls. I think it's similar to Devour. You've got to try and burn 10 dolls, and then that sort of takes away the spirit that's inside of her, I guess. And then then you just leave. But the trying to get to that stage, it can be really difficult. Like, you'll get stopped by her, she'll jump out, and then if she captures you, and there's still other people in there, and you'll get turned into a doll as well. You get shrunken down, so you've got to try and jump into the fire, get yourself back. But those moments were fantastic. I really enjoyed that particular one. There's quite a lot there. Actually, Expence has just joined me in my chat right now. I can say that on this show.
Hey.
Hey, Expence, we're just going through some of our highlights from this year, just as a recap whilst you're joining us. So let's go to one that I think you were in, Beth. I'm going to bring this up now. Let me bring up the... they're only short clips, but I hope we don't get copyrighted by Expence. Right.
Can you imagine like playing a clip from Expense's stream and he's like,
"Oh God, I never gave you
DMCA
permission." Yeah. All right. This is unfortunately I don't have clips from my own channel. Otherwise I would. This is
We've got a Raft bondage stream. We're going to tie each other up.
From-
We're going to have happy times.
Raft.
Yes, I remember this.
What's happening? That's the funny bit. So, I thought I'd had...
Oh dear.
I'm going to surrender and respawn. I think that's the thing. I've fallen... Oh my god.
Orders a shot.
Oh, it's destroying it. Everybody's destroying everything.
We kept dying from that shot.
That was just yeah, another game that we played over the last 12 months again was Raft. So yeah, again, if you don't know, Raft is a TMC.
Right. I love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was so basically Raft is a crafting survival game. Which you go around. Obviously, you need to craft and trying to build a boat on top of this raft. You on a raft, and we managed to get quite far. I thought we didn't do too.
We got to an
bad.
island.
We got to an island.
I can't remember what happened after that. but we got-
I've watched that clip a couple of times, and I still cry with laughter on it. It's just from my perspective. I was like, I didn't really know what was going on, but then you see, I think I was attacked by this boar that we found on an island, and it just violated me. It violated my character. I was just.
It is so good.
It was
I don't
just.
know I don't know where it did that, but it only did that to you, and
It just did it to me.
no one else.
I know. Yeah. It was one of the. Oh. No, there was some fun times. I'm not gonna lie. There was some fun times in that, and it was fun. I'm trying to think. What can you remember from any other game that we may have played? Because I'm just going to try and find some video now.
Hang on,
Okay.
I was quite a few.
Oh.
Thank you so much for that donation. Wow. Sorry, it's really big donation. Wow. That's that
Wow.
down.
Go down. Wow.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Thank you.
There we go. Right. The
cut
next. So yeah, that yeah, I don't know why we stopped. To be honest, I don't know why we could have continued that. That was fun times. I do love that. Getting invited into that. So we have another clip. This one's a little bit longer, but I feel like this is the creme de la creme of all clips. Unfortunately, I lost sound on this particular one, and I think you know where this is going now. So let me just bring up the footage here, and let's have a little look. I think there's some echo, but we can brush over that. But so let's bring this in, and I'm going to play this now. Again, it is from I think it's from everyone's perspective at this point. Oh, there he comes! Oh, look at it! He has wings. This
Yeah.
is
Oh, you don't have sound.
Oh my god, there's a glider in my
it's
face.
the glider.
It's one of the
Yeah.
craziest
Yeah.
moments I've
Don't have
ever
the gla-
witnessed in a game.
Without the glider.
It's like one of the. I love the bit where Alex like edited in all our faces as soon as he jumps off it, and it's just so well timed. That's like one of my favorite
I think
moments of
someone needs to clip that.
any
Someone
game.
put a glider down
Like
and
that was
revive
just
me.
so good, so good.
It's just amazing.
Oh my
Oh.
god, that was fantastic.
I wish I
For the
saw that in,
people
like,
who
third-person view.
can't see,
I'm so
there's this
grateful to have
video
been here to
of
witness
what's
this.
it called?
How does the glider work?
The forest.
The forest.
Just run and
Basically,
jump
there's
if
this
you're
huge
using it.
hole in the map,
Go,
and
yeah.
we were trying to craft
No,
a glider to
Oh.
try and like, glide into the hole.
What happened?
But
Oh,
unfortunately,
that was
I'm fine.
live.
I'm fine.
I remember when I tried to do it.
I was going to pause it there because I know you're trying to explain it. I'm going to explain. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
forest has in its world there is a hole, a big canyon, I suppose it is. It's just a big circle, isn't it? It's a massive circle. It's a big drop. It was me, you, Alex. I don't know if anyone else joined. They may have come in afterwards. I think 3D came in afterwards.
It's
I
a
think
big
at some
canyon.
point. Yeah, it's just. And did someone make it or spawn it in? Maybe it was Jeagles.
No, I think we made
We made it.
Yeah,
Oh, we found a
someone-
recipe for it.
someone spawned it in for us, and then they left us,
Yeah.
and then we destroyed it. Basically, we
Yeah, we destroyed it.
we
So
lost it down the hole because Alex jumped into it, and
Alex-
then I wanted to jump into it to try and see if I could maybe save Alex, but it didn't
okay,
work.
so yeah, the I'm laughing because I know what I'm wanting to say. It was when Alex thought he had it equipped, so he decided to jump off, but he jumped off without the glider and literally dived in. So then
He was so determined. He was like, "Here you go, here you go."
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. So Beth then decides, oh, Alex has left it behind. I'll try and rescue him. So she jumps in, but instead of going flying out gracefully and gliding, she just went out and then whoom, did a vertical drop to her death. No, did you thought you died? You thought you
Yeah, no,
survived?
I went down,
yeah.
and then I like
She
tumbled
just-
down a bit, and
Just
then I died.
nosedived.
Yeah, I was like tumbling down.
It was-
great.
It was one of I
Play it.
gotta
Go back and play it. It's fun.
let's go. Can we just do that again? I'm gonna I think let's just replay the whole clip because it's just the most funniest thing ever. Now we've kind of explained it. We're gonna replay. Let's replay that clip again.
Yeah,
So Alex comes in. He has the glider, and then
he's
somehow
Oh my god, there's a
Yeah, me
glider
too,
in my
quick hit.
face.
he unequips it for some
Here we go,
reason.
here we go, here we
And
go.
then
yeah, he had it on, and he thought he still had
Without the
it.
glider.
He thought he still had it, but he didn't.
I still laughed at his too. It's just times up. He went without the glider.
Oh, it's so
was
good.
fantastic.
And then I was stupid enough to like try it out myself.
Yeah.
I think someone needs to clip that. That's good. Can someone bring the glider down and revive me?
Oh, that was just too.
Oh my
Too
god, that was
soon.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I love it.
I wish I saw that in like third person view.
I'm so grateful to. Oh, that was just.
How does the glider work?
Yeah.
Just run and
I don't
jump
know.
if you're
I
using
try
it.
it now.
Just go, Beth. Yeah. No, she's
Oh. Oh. What happened?
just.
Oh,
that was alive.
I'm fine.
Did he die? Are you
Oh,
in
she's
the, are you
just.
in the
No, no,
bomb?
no.
Oh, it's so good. So
Oh, I'm
good.
dead now. No, wait. Am I dead? No, I'm dead.
You thought you
Some
was.
great moments.
That was one of the most epic moments I think we've ever
Yeah.
done as a group.
Yeah,
It
it was
was.
fantastic.
I look forward to some more of those, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm sure
Beth,
that happened.
it became for some reason dubbed as Beth's hole, but yeah, on the day.
I don't know why.
I
For
don't
some
know.
reason.
Should we
For
ask?
some reason,
Well, you know who you need to ask for that. Who instigated it all?
Alex.
Alex. Yeah, we're watching. He's watching.
uh, yeah, great.
Yeah,
Absolutely great.
I'm not sure if there's any other clips I can find. I'll try and look for some more.
I
But
don't really. I think they're like the main highlights.
they're the
that
main
we...
highlights, I think.
Oh, you just missed Alex falling through a hole and me falling
Yeah.
through my
Wow. It
own
was
hole.
just that to me was one of the funniest I've ever laughed.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, even watching them now, I watched it twice then,
It
and
makes me happy.
I'm
It
still
makes me
laughing
happy.
at that.
It's just an awesome memory to have, and I love it. It's so good. So
It's I'm not sure if there's any in this one. Yeah. I'm just trying to find another video. I don't think there is. Not to that caliber. I mean, unless anyone else can remember a time. I'd love to have. I wish I'd put together
you
a
like that,
compilation.
really?
Sorry.
I can't remember like as impactful as that, but
No,
there's been like loads of little moments, but nothing that's like that. Like that was just like one of those memories.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely like the best, I would say, that we were ever experienced. I know recently there was like we're still collabing now. Well, I can't, unfortunately I can't do as much. It was but it was with a change of jobs now, it means I can't do as much, and I'm gonna miss that. I am gonna miss that. But they were good times. I'm glad I was part of those. I'm glad I met you guys through this year, because they were some of the best moments in gaming I've ever had. It was 2021 was a great year, and I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad I met you all. I'm glad. I will say that to anyone who I know who's either watching my stream now. But yeah, everyone who I've met over
Some
this
great
past,
moments.
probably just before this, before the start of this year, but mostly this year. I know Freddie would agree with me here as well. It was great meeting up with you, Beth, you, Freddie as well. I know you're going to be listening to this at some point, so I'm going to make sure I mention you. Alex, aka Expence, Maestro Wolf, aka John, Jelly Yoga, everyone who comes to the stream and drops by now and again, and everyone who says hi, just for 5 minutes or something. I'm glad you came through, and we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue
more fun moments.
Oh yeah, we're going to continue to do those moments,
Yeah.
and we will continue that in the new year, I'm sure. And like I said at the start, if anyone missed it, I'm the Jackbox games as well. I mean, obviously we were part of those at some point, either as a member or of the audience, or just taking part. There's been so many great community games over this past 12 months, and I really struggling to find more examples, but I don't think that's gonna top the Beth's hole moment.
No.
So that's gonna take a lot of explaining to do, but good luck.
The current goal is to make a moment to replace the canyon hole thing.
Well, we've got it. It's always going to be there, though. You know, we can always.
It's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere. It's not going.
No. It's always there.
It, oh,
Always lurking. Oh.
Yeah, we have had some very good times over, like I said, over this past year, and I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my viewers.
My
and all you
viewers as
guys.
well. I made affiliate this year, which I could honestly say I'd never thought I'd get had I not met you guys.
That was great. I'm glad we did that for you. That's so
The
fun.
fact that it happened on my birthday. Well, it didn't get totaled up until the day after, but it happened on my birthday. I hit the targets on my birthday stream, and obviously the next day's calculations worked out that, you know, I was out and about. I was out the next day, and on the, because my birthday being on the, you know, for anyone who is interested, on the 2nd of August, you know, hint hint. But yeah, making the doing the 12-hour birthday stream that I done, and getting affiliated, because I was out with a friend the next day. I was like, right, I'm gonna meet a friend, and I checked my we had some drinks and stuff, so I was like, I checked my email whilst a friend of mine got another round in, I think it was, and I was like, congratulations, you've been. I'm like, that congratulations email that you get, it's so like, oh, it's just like, oh, that's amazing, it's brilliant. And like I said earlier as well, yesterday I got my first payment. I'm like, yay!
It's awesome.
It's such a great feeling. It's such a great feeling.
It is. It is.
But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try and get. I'm gonna try and, well, you don't always have to top everything you do, but if I can get if 2022 can only improve, really, it can only improve. I don't think you're never going to replace those moments. You can just get different ones, newer ones.
Yeah.
And that's just all you got to do is just keep continuously try to have as much fun as you can on streaming and stuff. So yeah, sort of gushing a little bit towards the end, but yeah, don't mean to. Sorry. Sorry, Beth, I'm taking over there, but yeah.
No, it's cool. It's fine. I agree with what you said, and I'm excited for the future for the podcast and all the gaming and just everything.
Well, we do need to play games for next year, so we can start talking about them more.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. So I think we're almost going to start. Well, we are obviously starting to wrap up now. The podcast. Do you have anything that you want to add to this before we just finish off?
You're not. No, I'm happy with it, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you? Well, okay. So yeah, like I said, this is going to be the last podcast this year that we're going to do, but we will return in the new year, and hopefully Freddie will be back with us. I know he's taken a bit of a break, so yeah. Again, thank you so much, Freddie, for being part of the podcast. I know you're out there. Thank you to the community. Thank you to everyone who's listened this year. Like I said, it is a podcast, so you could be listening to this in the future at some point. And if you are, maybe you're listening to it either on iTunes, either on Spotify, maybe even Amazon Music if you don't want to splash out too much money. On a weekly basis, you can even find it on Audible as well. And I had been approached. I had been approached by someone. I'm going to look into that. Hopefully we can get ourselves, get the podcast out there a bit more and get noticed a little bit more. Feel free to download, share, like, and all that. Leave some comments as well if you can spare some time. Just give us a good review, a bad review. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what we're doing right. What do you enjoy?
Bad reviews. Do not give us a bad review.
Don't give us a bad review. Just give us good reviews, thumbs up, and all that.
Yeah,
5-star all round. 5 stars all round.
Yeah, 5 stars. 6 out of 5 stars.
6 out of 5 stars. But yeah, as it is coming up to like the end now, Beth, do you have a joke of the week? Or you not?
Let me have a look real quick. Something. I don't know. Okay, I
You
don't
got-
know if you.
No,
don't
it
know.
sounds like she's. Let me just, whilst you're looking, then Beth, let me just remind
don't know if
everyone that
people
we
can
had
make it.
been given the from different studios. I was given a piece of music as well. We played it at the start. Probably end the stream with the or the podcast with some more of the music that they've given to us. So thank
Okay.
you for 3D for sorting that out as well. It managed to get us sponsorship with different studios. Great way to get your music on Twitch. It's if you're worried about DMCAs and all that, go and give those guys a little bit of a follow as well, and just tell them we sent you.
Okay, so
They make
oh, sorry.
good. Yeah, they do some. I think also I think Expence has just said they make some good music for edits.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Okay.
Beth,
Here is my joke. So, I found out yesterday that at my local police station, the toilets got stolen, and the police are now saying they have nothing to go on. So, yeah, that's my joke.
there you go. There we go.
Thank you. I'm here.
Beth's,
Bye. All year long.
Beth's here all year long. She's here next year as well with us. And yeah, hopefully next year we're going to be joined by. Now, I did say at the start, if anyone wants to DM me either on Twitch, you can whisper
Or me.
Twitch or Beth. If you want
No
to be
trouble,
part
please.
of the Bits and Pieces podcast, feel free to let us know. We'd love to have you on as a guest appearance. It'd be great to have someone else come on and chat about some of their stuff that they like to talk about in video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe
Anyone.
we'd do that as a special for episode 10.
Yeah,
But
why not?
for episode 9, that is it now. And as we're coming up to Christmas, so I know the timing might be off a little bit for some people if you're listening to this in the future. But as it is coming up to Christmas, and next Saturday is Christmas, I will be streaming Christmas Day because I'm not going anywhere. I might give away some prizes. You never know if you're there to lurk.
So
So
always.
if you are, if you're following me, I will actually, I'll sort out some. I'm going to be Father Christmas for one day. So next week I am going to be streaming on twitch.tv/funnybitsboy, and
I'll go try stream on Christmas. It might be later.
yeah. I mean, I'm
Available.
going to be around Christmas Day at some point.
So if I'm around, we can play some games or something.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if you are listening to this and you want to follow Beth, Beth is also on twitch.tv/pizzabeth,
Yes,
or
that's me.
Twitter at
Pizza Beth
1.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
or
Sound
at
number
me at funnybitsb. And that's it. Thank you very much for joining us in this week's show. Next week, as I said, is Christmas on literally next Saturday. Exactly you've got 7 days. You've got 7 days till Christmas.
Yeah.
Get your if you haven't been out and got Christmas shopping now, what are you waiting for? Like, it's the weekend.
I'm doing mine tomorrow.
You're doing yours tomorrow. That's brilliant. So yeah. Have a very
I'm so organized.
You are indeed. So yeah, we're going to sign off now. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Have a very Merry Christmas. If we do not see you over the Christmas period, have a great time. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. And we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Thanks very much for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching. And we'll see you again real soon. Until then,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye. And we are out of here.
But we're not actually going. Are you playing games, yeah? Yeah, okay, we'll play some games. maybe I'll do yeah. Sorry, I can't really talk too much, but hello everyone in my stream. Bacon, hello Expence, hello Kwaifu. That was a very generous donation. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, it's definitely like all my friends have been really supportive this year,